Hey guys, welcome back. In this lecture, we'll discuss about creating and configuring network security groups and application security groups, as well as evaluating effective security rules in NSG. Previously, we have covered the first part of virtual networking. In this series of lectures, in the couple of lectures, we'll complete these things. All right, today's lecture we'll try to focus on these things. So to do that, let's go ahead and first create a couple of network security groups. And this is the one. If you go ahead and create it, let's select VNet RG. Let's give it a name, NSG subnet. We want to attach it at subnet level, so we are giving it this name. So let's just do that. All right. Yep, it's done. So let's go ahead and create one more thing. This time we want to create one which will be attaching at network interface that is directly to the VM. So let's just give it a name. Let's place it in the same VNet. Right, let's create it. This won't take much time. So meanwhile, let's go back and look at the one we have already created. Yeah, both of them. As we want to attach this to subnet. Let's go ahead and do that. You can do that over here. Subnets. You can assign it to virtual network and default. The reason why you don't see any other virtual networks over here is because the NSG and the virtual network has to be in the same region. As we have created this NSG in East US region, and the network one is also created in East US, you can only attach it to that. Alright, this one currently we'll leave it unassigned, and let's go ahead and create a virtual machine to clearly understand how and what the network security group works and what's the purpose of it. Let's use VNet RG. We'll name it VM1. Leave it as it is. Let me just do this. Right. Let's not allow anything over here. And when we move to disks, I'm reducing this to basically save costs. And then networking, I'll leave this as it is. None. Management, none. Monitoring, disable. Advanced. Now let's leave it. I'll just go back. Right, let's review and create. This won't take much long. It'll take a couple of minutes. I'll come back once it is done. Yeah, the VM is created. Now let's go to the VM and see. If we take a look at the networking settings, um, you know, Okay, we can see that it has a network security group that has already been assigned. I mean, it was inherited from the subnet, that is default, attached to subnet default. As this VM is part of default network, default subnet, this network security group has been assigned over here. But what we can do is we can go to this network interface, and we can add another network security group at NIC level, that is a network interface card. It shouldn't take long. So, but what we can see is once that is done, even though these are all the default rules that whenever you create an NSG, you'll get it. That is, traffic within the virtual network is allowed on any port and any protocol. And if there is any load balancer, it could be the source and it can access all the internal VMs of this network and then deny all inbound. This is, except these two, it will deny everything. So this is basically like, the rules are matched based on priority. Say for suppose if this is met, then these two won't be processed. So whenever if you want to basically allow anything, definitely you have to use something above this one, that is the smaller number than 65,500. Only then you know you can do allow something. All right, so let's just refresh this. Now we should see both subnets. Yeah, both subnets over here, right? So first thing, let's try to connect it, SSH into this. It shouldn't allow us. In general, it doesn't take this long to basically SSH, log in into this one, but it's not responding. It will time out after some time. That's for sure. Meanwhile, let's go ahead to NSG subnet. This is at subnet level. Now I want to add an SSH. Yeah, this is timed out. Now I want to add source any, because we'll be connecting from internet. Destination can be any. Service SSH. Now we are allowing. You can see the priority is 100. So when you add a rule with 100, this is, I mean, when you're trying to, SSH into the machine, this rule is first met, so it doesn't process deny all inbound. So you're allowed, right? So let's just allow this one. Now, okay, we have allowed SSH inbound at subnet level, right? So now if you try again, it doesn't allow you. Reason being, you did not allow it at NIC level. That is, you need to allow it both at subnet as well as NIC, because if you don't have any network security group at NIC, that is the one which we earlier had, we have assigned it now. In that case, it works because you only have one security group at subnet level. Now, as you have both the security groups, the rule has to match at both the levels. That is, to come, I mean, the traffic will be passing through the subnet using this security group, but not through the NIC card, because that security group is blocking you. Now what we have to do is, let's just go to this NIC, and then let's allow SSH into this. Yeah, it's done. Now if we just retry to log in, this should work this time. Yeah, it's accepting my login request. Yeah, I'm now logged in. Similarly, whenever you install any web server on these machines, you need to allow, you know, 80 to access it over HTTP, or 443 to access it at on 443, like HTTPS. And the basic settings of this is, the source could be any as in all the internet, and then IP addresses. Say you want to allow only your machine to connect to this. So in that case, what can you do is you can say what is my IP, and you'll get your IP address. Yeah, this is my current IP address. So using that, I can give, or I can select my IP address, which automatically picks up, or you can say you can give any custom IP address, and then you can say, okay, I want to only connect via 80, not 22. In that case, I can give that so that I'll be denied this 22 access. And then designation destination can be any. Again, any as in any, this network security group can be assigned to multiple NICs, and any as in all the machines managed by this network security group. IP addresses, say for example, if this network security group is connected to 10 virtual machines, but I can give address of 5 virtual machines. That is, I can only connect to those 5, not the rest 5. And service could be anything like HTTP, that is 80 port, HTTPS 443, and then SSH 22, then RDP for Windows machines 3389. Similarly, yeah, these are all things. And then there is custom as well. You can basically say on which port you want to connect. Protocol could be any TCP, UDP, or ICMP. Action, if you want to deny or allow, you can do that. Priority, as I said, priority, based on the priority, the rules will be processed. You can mark your priority, like starting from 100, you can increase or you can add some rules in between as well. This is the name which you'll be giving it. All right, so this is regarding the network security groups, as well as you know creating one rule in it. But when you now, like when you take a look at here, you have multiple, this one network security groups assigned to it. So what can you do to basically get to the effective rules? So one would be, if you go to network watcher, I think we have effective security rules. Yeah, say on VM1, this is the VM which we have. Now it will show us what are the associated NSGs and the effective security rules from it. So these are the rules. You can compare side by side over here and see, okay, this is allowed. That is internet. This CIDR block is nothing but internet, and this is the port. So you're allowing SSH in subnet as well as NIC. That's where I am allowed to log in into this VM. Right? Without even one of them, I wouldn't be able to do that. If you don't have an SG at NIC level, having this rule at subnet level should suffice. But in general, like to uh, have granular control, that is, whenever you have a single subnet for, say for example, multiple web servers, or multiple back end, front end, as well as middle layer servers. In that case, you would want to control some rules at NSG that are common to all, and some rules at NIC that is common only to that particular VMs. All right. Moving on, the next one would be application security groups. This is similar to network security group, just that it will be mapped to a VNet, as well as one more thing is, you can assign it to, you can create a group and you can assign it to that group. Whenever you create a VM, it can be part of that group and it directly inherits. You don't need to assign it. So let's just try this out. I'm naming it ASG and I'll create it. Generally, this comes in handy in case of auto scaling load balancers. That is, say for example, there is a you have web server deployed in 10 virtual machines, and the traffic has to be distributed across all those virtual machines. All right, and then you have a load balancer in front of it, but you don't know what amount of traffic you'll be receiving at any moment, and you do not want any downtime. In that case, generally, we do auto scaling. That is, when the traffic is increasing, the number of VMs automatically increase, and then when the traffic is decreasing, it gets down. All right. So in that case, auto scaling does happen automatically, but the assigning of the security rules has to be done manually in that case. To avoid that, you can say all those VMs, basically you can assign that backend of load balancer to this application security group, and whenever a new VM gets created, this security group is automatically assigned to it. To visualize the application, I mean usage of application security group, we might have to delve into more detailed load balancing, etc. Once we it'll be covered in this course, and once we reach that point, then I'll explain application security group in detail over there. With this, we'll be marking an end to this chapter. Thank you for watching.